What's up, guys? My name is Trey, and I'm majoring in music technology.
Hey everyone, it's Gracie Tolles, your favorite animal science major.
Hi, I'm Amina, and I'm an environmental science major.
Hi, my name is Mackenzie, and I'm majoring in psychology.
Hey everyone, welcome to Thinking Out Loud. So our first topic is going to be comparing inductive arguments to cultural relativism.
So inductive arguments are if the premises are true, the conclusion is probably true. So the more probable, the stronger the argument. Like, for example, if every swan you've seen is white, then you could conclude all swans are white, even though that might not be a true.
But my last name is Swan, and I'm black. So that's why it's not true. Boom.
And cultural relativism is a cultural believing a moral judgment is true. There's a couple objections to that, such as the thought of like war, moral critics, progress, and people's core values. But yeah.
I don't know, I think it's interesting because if inductive arguments are reliant on what is going on, or like if they're reliant on the outside world and society, then cultural relativism is literally like it has to, I guess, exist. But exist isn't the right word because obviously it's an idea, so obviously it exists. But inductive arguments are dependent on cultural relativism because they are dependent on what's going on around
They're
it.
like context dependent, sorry.
Right, yeah, context.
Yeah,
it's kind of like, I guess it's kind of the reverse of what you're trying to say. Like cultural relativism is an example of inductive argument.
Yes, yeah.
And
But like they need, like, you need to have cultural relativism to have an inductive argument about something, right?
maybe, yeah.
Because
I haven't thought about it that way.
Cultural relativism is a cultural. So let's say, for instance, like let's say we get a lot of earthquakes here, okay, and then this building starts shaking. Well, we could assume that it's an earthquake because we get a lot of earthquakes. But if we don't get a lot of earthquakes here and the building starts shaking, what are we going to induce? And they think the building.
So the general culture of like this campus would be like to assume.
Oh, okay.
I see what
Exactly.
you're
You know what I
saying.
mean? Or if it's like the 4th of July and you hear like pops, you're probably not thinking they're gunshots. You're probably thinking it's 4th of July.
Yeah, so I guess you could say like cultural relativism would be maybe not necessarily the argument by analogy type of inductive argument, but the enumerative one where like it's majority surveyed or even the one about the inference.
Right.
You know, it's based on conservatism, what fits your beliefs, and everyone's culture is a little different, everyone's beliefs are a little different.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is interesting because like cultural relativism is like dependent on like a majority of like a culture of what they believe, but what they believe could be completely different from another culture.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, like
Right.
contradictory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Like,
you couldn't really, I mean, there's just nothing deductive about cultural relativism.
No.
yeah. And I just recently learned this. At HBCUs, if you drop a cup on the floor, everyone starts clapping.
At what?
Like, if you're in like a dining hall, I don't know if it's at all HBCUs, but I literally just saw it on TikTok. If you drop a cup on the floor, then everybody will start clapping. And that's something that I was like, that I would not have known that.
Right, if that happened
And
here, everybody's
exactly.
like, what's
Yeah.
If I
going
drop a
on?
cup on the floor in the dining hall, nobody would care.
Yeah.
But if you were to go to an HBCU and drop a cup, everybody would start clapping. It's just, that's kind of an example of cultural relativism because it's dependent on the culture.
Yeah, no, that's definitely true.
Oh,
Stop it.
alright. So the next topic that we're going to discuss today are dualism and Descartes' cogito. Dualism is the idea that there are two, basically your mind and body are two separate entities. Your mind is its own thing, your body exists as itself, and that they work together, but they exist separately, not, like intertwined. I'll let you explain Descartes.
As for Descartes' cogito, which is I think, is the belief that because you think you are alive and real, it leads into the dream argument. Anyone want to start talking about that?
Yeah, so pretty much he claims in the dream argument that like you don't know what's real and what's not real because sometimes they seem so real that you wake up like, did that really happen or not? So that's something that can be doubted, and he believes in indubitability. It's a mouthful, and foundationalism, which contradicts that. So I think therefore I am is something that needs no justification, because the literal act of thinking proves that you exist.
Right. And
You can't think in your dream. It's all just happening.
yeah, and that leads into where it ties together, which is Descartes had to have been a dualist because he is directly separating the mind and the body by saying, I think, therefore I am. If you have to think to exist, and then that means that your body and mind have to be separate, because obviously Descartes could see that he has a body, right? But in the dream argument, I guess you could say, the fact that you have a body isn't enough. He doesn't believe fully in anything. You need to have like proven evidence. And his evidence again was, I think, therefore I am.
Yeah.
So he had to have been a dualist. Now, it's there's some interesting like plot holes in Descartes, I would say, with the whole like idea of I think, therefore I am, which is a true statement. I personally believe that the mind and body exist separately,
Yeah.
but I do think that they work together.
Yeah,
But we
for
had
sure.
an argument in class about whether you can imagine being brain dead and whether you're alive, or it wasn't whether you're alive if you're brain dead, but it was whether, I don't remember the exact word, but it was basically, the objection to it was that there was a argument with the premises, to be alive, I have to think.
Yeah.
If I'm brain dead, I can't think.
So then you're not alive.
So
if you're
then
brain dead,
if you're brain dead,
yeah.
you're not alive. And I think that I don't agree with that
I
statement.
don't either.
Because I
Yeah.
think that if you are brain dead, you are still, your body's still alive. So I think that you are still alive.
So do you think that the mind and body are separate then in that sense, or?
I think that they are separate, but I think that they are both you.
Because I mean that's the key of the ontologically independent. Like they don't, they operate on their own even though they work together.
Yeah.
Right.
You can kind of think of the mind as an a priori, and then the body as an a posteriori.
Yeah.
And I mean, something you can observe your body, but you don't know, you can't read minds. That's
Right.
really a superpower
Yeah.
people want.
Yeah.
So that's something that takes a little more
That's a very good point, actually. Yeah.
mind reading.
Yeah. So then, would a mind reader then?
That's like someone who has a smile on their face, but on the inside they're depressed.
Yeah.
It's a good way to look at
Which
it.
actually we just talked about that. And there's another connection, which isn't even something that we're going to talk about. But
Bring it up.
The-
Let's talk about it.
well, actors. I don't remember exactly what it is, but actors are an exception to. I don't remember what the actual concept name was, but we were talking
remember
about
talking
the
about
fact
that,
Now that
yeah.
you say that, I'm forgetting it. Yes.
I don't. I can't remember the name. but-
It's for the mind and body problem
Yes.
too. It's
It's for the-
behaviorism.
behaviorism,
It's for
yeah.
physicalism,
Right.
behaviorism.
Yeah. And that actors can.
Showing you're
act-
in love doesn't mean you feel the in love.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Actors can cry, but just because they cry doesn't mean that they're sad. They're
Exactly.
acting in a movie or a
Yeah.
show or whatever.
Yeah.
So that's pretty interesting. I wonder what.
Because actors would be more, since it's an objection to physicalism, it's more of an example of dualism. you know?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. We can talk about. We haven't really talked about numerical and quantitative identity
Qualitative.
or qualitative.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that's a key part to share about dualism is it's kind of based around Lebanese
I
law,
think Lebanese.
where it's numerical identity, and the example we talked about in class was like Superman is Clark Kent is Superman, or qualitative identity would be like we have the same shirt, but we're not literally
Yeah.
wearing the same shirt.
Right.
And dualism falls under that numerical identity, saying that, I guess, they're different things but the same.
It's there. Dualism.
It's
Dualism
based on
falls.
perspective,
right?
It's like, yeah.
Yeah, that's literally, it's based on perspective, which kind of also goes back to what we just talked about previously with the cultural relativism and whatever your perspective is.
Yeah.
Like, because certain cultures have different perspectives quite literally on, like, life.
Yeah.
And, like, some people believe that certain, I'm trying to think of, like, well, we talked about, like, the water thing,
Yeah.
where the water in a bay was acting as a bay, where it has, like, life.
It is a
to
bay.
it.
Yeah, early. Yeah.
Yeah, like, whereas we would say that it's a bay,
Yeah.
where they would say that it's acting as a bay, it has, like,
Yeah.
life to it, which is dependent on, you know, the cultural relativism, which literally it goes back to dualism, whereas some cultures believe that you have a spirit, some cultures believe that you don't, some cultures believe that your mind and body are the same, some cultures believe they're not. You know, there's cultures that believe that, like, you know, I'm pretty sure, like, ancient Egyptians would mummify parts of the body, and, like, they would literally remove the organs and stuff, and, like, put them into, like, it would preserve them,
Yeah.
because they believed that that was your, like, that was part of you.
Yeah.
Like, that was, like, part of your, like, you.
It's like most of these topics you can connect back to, like, there's connections almost to
Everything.
all of them.
Yeah.
They come back around. It's like full circle moment. It's
Yeah.
Yeah,
pretty
it really
bad.
is.
Yeah.
Full line moment.
Full line moment, yeah.
And for our final argument, we're going to discuss these two topics of deep self-compatibilism and utilitarianism. So for deep self-compatibilism, there's a big focus on freedom, which is doing what you authentically desire and how those desires align. So there's typically an order. So you have first order, and then that'll continue to second order, third order. And a great example for what that starts with is, say I want a cigarette. Okay, I want that cigarette, but then I also want to quit smoking. But then I want to go buy. And it just continues with what that authentic freedom and desire is. And then for utilitarianism?
Yeah, and then for utilitarianism, that's actions that are right insofar that they lead to the greatest happiness. Wrong otherwise, and some objections are like organs, peeping Tom, promise keeping, lazy Sunday, and drowning children.
They all sound terrible.
Yeah.
So one interesting connection between the two, I guess you could say, is that in order, so utilitarianism is, you know, trying to maximize happiness, right? But deep self-compatibilism is about, like, deciding what is happiness. So how would a utilitarianist explain, like, your example of, like, if you want a cigarette, right?
Mm-hmm. So it would be whatever makes you the happiest, right? So like the
Your
thing with, like,
nicotine buzz,
my nicotine
or
buzz. So like with a drowning child, you know that kid's drowning, know it's the right thing to go help, but then it's like, okay, but what would make me happy right now is going to get an ice cream. So would you ignore the kid to go? Just like I would ignore the nicotine and the bad
yeah.
stuff that comes
Yeah.
with cigarettes. Because for my happiness with utilitarianism, I would just smoke a cigarette.
Yeah, you know, like most, I mean, your authentic desires are usually what is gonna make you happy.
Yeah.
So
Right.
one is the other,
Right.
almost.
But then what is happiness?
Even though
and
they're
addiction?
different, totally different viewpoints. Like deep self's all about freedom, utilitarian's all about morality.
Mm-hmm.
They're still interrelated. I mean, I feel like viewpoints on freedom are vary based on your beliefs and your morals
Right.
too. So
But like, I guess, how is happiness explained in terms of addictions? Like, let's say I want to smoke a cigarette, but I also want to quit cigarettes. What is
I think
making
the utilitarianist would literally be which one's gonna make you the happiest in that moment.
So is that, but it is temporary.
So it's conflicting.
happiness.
It's conflicting.
Yeah.
Well, what's more important? Because so net happiness is the, like, main objective of utilitarianism, is the most happiness. How do you measure that? Like, if smoking
the
a
ultimate-
cigarette
that's
is
an
gonna
ultimate
make
question.
you happy in the moment, but if you want to quit later on in life and you don't want to potentially like get cancer from smoking cigarettes.
I think that's there's the two people we talked about in class. One believed all pleasures are equal, and then the other one said that some pleasures are more valuable. And I think it just depends on which side of the T chart you fall on.
What do you guys think would describe like authentic? Because I know one of them says like the order of I want a cigarette, I want to quit smoking, but then if it's also like in that moment, what'll make me authentically, genuinely happy right now is a cigarette.
Yeah.
Would it like cancel out those desires, or would they still be there, just kind of?
Well,
I mean, I guess net happiness, what makes you happiness.
But what if you're gonna be sad afterwards? Like, what if you're actively trying to quit and like?
That's your
like,
net
what if you
equation.
relapse?
Yeah.
One minus the
That's a good
other.
point.
Well, like, so then is it zero happiness then? Because if, like, let's say you're like an alcoholic,
It
right?
could be negative. It could be in the
And
negative.
if you relapse on alcohol, like you're drinking alcohol in the moment because you want to, like, you want it, but you're an alcoholic and you're aware of that. And let's say you've been sober for like I don't know a year, but you drank alcohol this one time, so you know you're going to be sad afterwards. But in the exact moment you may have had, but even after, like, you may take your first sip and immediately be sad. So
That's like-
where's like what is the net happiness?
That's like the example we had of, what was her name? We're just gonna say Stacy. Stacy
Okay.
had like a manic episode and killed this person, and they know that's morally wrong.
Yeah.
But in that moment,
It-
she would have been morally right for thinking that.
Right.
I guess that's more like ethical subjectivism, like.
It
Yeah.
ties into, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Everything ties
Which is
into
just
ethics.
a different morality view, but.
Yeah, which I don't even like.
Would that be your authentic design? Would that be Stacey's authentic design? Or is that more traditional compatibilism where it's like you can do what you want without constraint? Doesn't necessarily.
Yeah.
I think-
I don't know. I don't know on that one actually.
Yeah.
So.
Good questions.
I don't know, I think utilitarianism would actually probably think that not smoking or not drinking would bring the most happiness, because if it's going to bring any sadness at all,
Mm-hmm.
then it's
Not gonna make you the
it's
happiest.
negative.
Yeah.
So even if that happiness in the moment is there, I feel like the long-term happiness
Win.
overrides
Yeah,
short-term
yeah.
happiness.
But when it comes to utilitarianism, should we discuss peeping Tom bringing happiness? That kind
Well,
of stuff.
That is a contradiction to it, because
Yeah.
right, like it's
It might make peeping
Someone-
Tom happy, but
Someone's getting harmed even though they
Yeah.
don't know.
Right.
Yeah.
right.
I think that's just wrong. Do
Yeah.
you have anything else to discuss?
Well,
I think that's
Yes.
all we have.
thinking out loud.
Yep, thinking out loud.
Out loud.